Hello everyone, Ken and Loey here, this time with World of Tanks. They basically brought back the Chaffee races that they did a few years back, and I don't think I had the original Chaffee races archived on my channel, so I decided to showcase this. Just like the Rogue Wave event, I decided I tend to do a video on these special events because I think that some of them are unique, and you never know, they might not ever do them again, and so I can look back at them years down the line. So the special thing about the Chaffee races, if I want to continue calling them that, is that there are 3 different vehicles you can choose from this time. We're not all playing Chafees this time. And we have Leopard, Chaffee, and T50. So each one has their own unique stats. So with the T50, the top speed is actually the lowest. It has the fastest acceleration, it has the best driving handling, and it has a really small damage per shot gun, but reloads very quickly. The Chaffee, on the other hand, has a 10 kilometer an hour better top speed, has a slower acceleration, has worse handling, but it has the highest damage per shot out of the 3. And the Leopard has the absolute highest top speed of 120, has the slowest acceleration, low handling, has an autoloader, and everything. So that is kind of a brief overview of them, and apparently, according to what this says, is that each one of these apparently has additional rear armor. The one video that I watched on these, apparently this doesn't even do anything from what I could tell, which is kind of hilarious. Like, I watched Des Games' video on this, I do believe, and he was auto-aiming at the rear, which is supposedly where this additional armor is, and it was going through every single time. So unless they were all hitting the turret somehow, that doesn't really make any sense. And all of them seem to, quote-unquote, have this armor, so I'm not exactly sure how that works. And then they give a brief description of the different engine they're using. Each one has a special boost, and then the guns have the same penetration, and they're considered high APCR, except it has the high explosive icon. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but okay. And then this is basically a description of the engine boost of 20%. So what you can earn from this event is a special commander that has Brothers in Arms for free and 2 in skill points are already trained, which is very useful, as well as getting credits, boosters, that and training booklets to train your crew, and then 50 gold. I mean, 50 gold is... Oh, apparently you can receive the 50 gold per day. Interesting. And then here's the different commanders. And how you earn them is by getting these trophies. I'm not entirely sure how to get them yet, but then you choose which one you want to go for, and then trade the trophies in for fragments, and then you have 0 out of 20 for each of them. And then here's the brief overview. So if you're first place, you get 250 HP back. If you're second place, you get 150, and then third place gets 100. So the idea of it is to deal as much damage as you can along the race, and then be first to regain as much of your HP back as possible. I'm just going to jump in the T50. I'm probably only going to show one battle of this, just because then it would be too long. And ironically, everyone is playing the T50 Sport. Okay. And it seems like they have pretty cool music on this. Oh, this thing just loves to drift, doesn't it? I don't think the exploding barrels actually deal damage to you, but so basically the idea of it is dealing as much damage as you can before you reach the end, and then focusing on focus on killing one of them as fast as possible with having as many hit points left as you can. I will say though that the music and the visuals and the variety are much better than they were in just the standard Chaffee races that they had a few years back. Oh, I guess there's one Chaffee Sport somewhere. Okay. See, yeah, like as you can see, the quote-unquote rear armor of this thing like doesn't really do anything. So I'm not exactly sure why they even advertise that these things have great rear armor when it's like, no, they don't. And they do have the same lock-on system as the wheeled vehicles, so it's a little bit easier to actually get a lock-on. And I completely goofed there. Thankfully the boost pretty much puts you at your maximum top speed right from the get-go. So yeah, I'm not actually going to get, I don't think, any of the speed boost, but we're gonna focus this guy down. And yeah, they focused down me pretty specifically there, which was the right thing to do on their end, but judging on how things are going, I don't think we're gonna win this one. But it was nice to have that insane maneuverability and speed for, just kind of reminds me of the old T50-2. And he rammed himself. That was not good. So yeah, it's like pretty much just whichever team has the highest HP out of like the most balanced HP out of their three teammates, like pretty much automatically wins, from what I can tell. Unless your team focus fires as well as they can on one target there. So these are like kind of the different things that earn you points. One of them is win the race and cause damage to all three different enemy vehicles. Do 1,000 damage and win. Be the first in the finish line, cause 500 damage, win the race, and cap, or just win the race. So like 4 out of the 6 of these you have to win, which is honestly really annoying. I mean, since I rarely play World of Tanks anymore, and I even let my premium account run out, I have no intention in grinding out the commanders for these. And I'm just looking at this and considering that most of these require you to win. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that, because that was one of the biggest problems that I had with like the soccer event and stuff, is that what happened is that some of the missions were like, you have to win or else you don't get anything. And that was absolutely frustrating, because what would happen is that you'd get on a losing streak of losing like 3 to 5 times in a row before you get your win. So then you essentially wasted... It was basically the game punching you in the face and say, you just wasted your time. And I kind of feel like, just by looking at these, that this is going to be very similar in that fashion. Especially since these two give you 10 points, whereas everything gives you 5. And like, I don't understand why this one you have to win. Like, cause damage to all 3 vehicles. Like, maybe make this a 5-pointer and make it so you can earn it regardless. Or this one. Like, I don't understand why that requires you to win as well. You know, like these two make sense, but these two I don't get why they made you have to win. So yeah, it looks like I got 2 tokens, and it says 5 times 2 XP token. Doesn't really make any sense. So it says personal progress of 5. So in order to earn the gold from per day, because it looks like you can earn them once per day, is that you have to get 1,500 personal points, and I only got 5 from that. I mean, since it was my first time, I probably didn't do that great, but at the same time, it's like, if I only got like 10 or 15 points per race that I do well on, possibly, like, how much points, like how long would this take? You know, like, I don't think I am glad that I knew from the start that I was not going to grind for this, because this feels very similar to the soccer game one, and I actually did get the commander from the soccer event, Buffoon here, and it was not good. Like, the amount of frustration that event gave me was just too much. And if I had known how annoying it would be in order to get that commander, I would say I probably would have skipped it easily. Mainly because it was mainly because of the winning thing, like with how they set that up, and getting on losing streaks was just absolutely frustrating. And this one, I can just feel that this event is going to be pretty much the same as that. One thing to note is that the extra armor plating on the back, like I showed there, it doesn't really seem to do anything. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that or what. Unless, like, they're hitting up here or they're hitting here instead. But then again, like, that doesn't do anything. So, my thoughts on this as a whole. Well, besides, if you have the patience for this, the commander looks like he could be quite good. I rarely play World of Tanks now, personally. So, I'm like I said, I'm not going to bother. The other thing is that you can get gold from this event, but it looks like it's going to be very grindy per day in order to get that gold. But they do have a unique camouflage from this event. You also get credits, you get boosters and stuff. So, well, and training booklets for your crew. So that might be worth it if you aren't going specifically for the commander. You could go for those, and they would probably be worth it. Besides that, the game mode as a whole, just like most of these special events, it can be fun for, maybe like up to 10 battles for it. But many of these events, either it's World of Tanks, World of Warships, or whatever, they tend to be extremely repetitive. So, and that is also one of the things, like, for these special rewards, like the commander here, they expect you to play this game mode so much, just kind of to the insane degree to earn these. And yet, like, after 5 to 10 battles, for me personally, like, I could definitely see this as being very repetitive. And this isn't really like the Rogue Wave event, where, like, the Rogue Wave event I liked more, like, just because of the ridiculousness of the super fast torpedoes of destroyers and the speed of the destroyers. I just felt like it was a lot more enjoyable. And also, World of Tanks did, I think it was last month or something like that, they had an event that was basically a battle royale mode called Steel Hunter, I think. I decided not to do a video on that because I thought it was pretty much too similar to Rogue Wave, and also, I don't know, like, I saw that it could be fun. It's just that it kind of went, it pretty much played the typical way that Battle Royale seems to go, is that you just hide and pick up, like, as many consumables and stuff as possible, and then just fend off the people who are left, and that's pretty much how you win. Rogue Wave, at the very least, you had teams, and while you were getting consumables in the Steel Hunter game mode, you actually gain, like, tank levels per game, so you would actually upgrade your tank, and I just found that it wasn't, I didn't find it as interesting as Rogue Wave. For me personally, and also stuff was happening in my life, so I just didn't record. I think I was sick at the time, so I just didn't record that. I would say that this, I would probably like Steel Hunter more, now that I think about it, than this. Like the whole idea of you have to shoot your opponent every single chance you get while you're running, while you're going to the finish line. Like, I don't know, I just don't, I didn't really care for that in the Chaffee races. I didn't really care for that here, instead of just focusing on getting to the finish line. Like, I just kind of feel like I would prefer that more, but at the same time, it makes sense it is the way it is. Because otherwise you're just not doing much other than that. But it is kind of irritating that the game forces you to focus on some dealing damage to enemies as often as possible than just doing the race. I mean, that's just my personal preference. So I think I pretty much talked about everything I wanted to, and briefly talked about the Steel Hunter game mode. So overall, I mean, it's an alright game mode. I mean, it definitely has good music this time. It has a lot better variety, which is something that before it didn't have. I'm glad that they're, trying to put in some variation in each of these game modes that they pretty much are reusing, which I don't mind at all, personally. But I really don't think the rewards are worth it. And also, you see here that you only have a limited number of races for some reason, and I really don't understand what the point of that is. Like, do you have to, do you just get races back by playing normal battles or what? But this is probably going to be the only race I do, so it's not going to affect me. They did a similar thing with like the very first PvE mode that they did. I also decided not to record that simply because Armored Warfare pretty much did it 10 to 100 times better than World of Tanks did, from the sound of it, and they had a limited number of uses. I really don't understand what the point of that is, unless they're trying to make you buy more races. So yeah, that was another event that I that I didn't record. I just, it sounded really dumb. So, but yeah, this is the racing event, and briefly talking about some other stuff, and just as a showcase of it all. So thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.